Hello, in this video I'm going to be demonstrating the installation of the Ricochet aluminum floorboards on a 2018 Polaris Ranger Crew 1000. First thing you need to do is to remove your factory plastic. It comes all the way out to the edge. Now if you're leaving your factory Polaris skid plates on and you just want to install our floorboard skids, you are going to have to cut your Polaris factory plate pretty much right at the edge of this frame rail here. If you know, I've already installed either our UHMW or our aluminum set, that's already taken care of. You don't need to do anything. So getting on to the installation, first thing you're going to want to do is you've got 4 of these nut plates. And you need to insert those into these channels right here. You got a slot up front so you can put it in, drop it down, and then just line it up with a hole. So we're going to do that to all 4 of these. And the hole's already there from the factory, so you don't have to drill anything. Okay, so all of our nut plates are inserted into these channels. Like I say, line it up with a hole when you get it there. If you don't get it completely lined up, it's not that big of a deal. We've actually put a slot in the skid plate so you can get your finger up there and work it if you have to. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 bolts from the factory that holds this plastic along the rocker panel there. Those 5 bolts need to be removed. You won't be reusing them. But we're picking those up for mount. So like I say, this might be a little easier to mount with the cup washers first, just to, oh, it's not the right bolt. Just so you're not having to hold that up to catch the thread on those nut plates in the channels. And you can leave these loose. It's just going to help the plate hang. So to get that done, get my Torx wrench. We're just going to start that thread. We're not going to tighten anything down. Be sure to put anti-seize on these bolts as well. Okay, those 2 are started. You can see the plate's nice and loose, so we'll be able to adjust it for the best fit. Next, you're going to take your the rear plate. We're going to kind of do the same thing. Now this section of the rear plate has to tuck underneath this right here. We're going to tie those together right there. And then you can do the back 2 here. And then that leaves us with one more mount at the rear. And it's just a nut and bolt. You take your bolt and your washer, get it through the slot, through the hole in the frame, put your washer over the bolt, and then start the nut. Okay, now we have this one center cup washer here. It's going to tie these two plates together where they seam. With this, you want to make sure your plate's all the way back. Make sure your cup washers are going to seat okay. Looks like those are fine. And then you're going to bring this plate all the way forward. You want to just kind of butt them up together. And then you can actually go ahead and tighten this bolt at that point. Okay, so those two are now tied together. So now we could go through, if you're just doing the aluminum skids, you can put your other two, I guess your just last cup washer in here, and you can go ahead and tighten everything down. If you're going to install our UHMW, this is the overlay for the belly skids. At this point, you actually need to pull these cup washers out because they are a common mount. And you just start your cup washers in the nut inserts. And we're just going to leave all these loose for now, as standard. Okay, so now you can take your bolts and your cup washers. You're going to slide the spacer over it and put those back in on all the common mounts. If you're having a hard time catching the thread, just push up on the plate. It might not be seated, so. But they should all catch pretty easy. Okay, now we can bring our rear plate over. And there are lefts and rights to these floorboard plates, so if you go to put it on and things aren't lining up, chances are you're trying to mount it on the wrong side. Okay, everything's started now, so we can start tightening things down. I prefer to tighten the aluminum first and then tighten the UHMW second. So we're going to start with these our Torx bolts here. And that nut plate's captured in the frame, so you can't spin it, so you don't have to get a wrench on it or anything. And then we got the one in the rear, and that one you do need to get a wrench on. You need a 13mm wrench. You can just come back inside the frame tube here. Okay, so that takes care of those. Now I prefer to tighten the outer mounts here, and then might just tighten one just so it kind of stays in position. Make sure all your cup washers are going to seat, and once you're happy with it, you can tighten everything else down. You can kind of do the same thing for the rear plate. Just make sure everything's going to sit down and seat. Okay, so that takes care of the floorboards and the hybrid plastic. So I'm only going to show the one side for the video. It's the exact same procedure for left and right. There's no difference whatsoever. So like I say, just for the video, I'm just going to show the one side. But with this set, you've got 1/2 inch protection on the belly. You got your 3/16 aluminum floorboard skids. They wrap up around the body here, come up, lip around the front edge, which is pretty nice. And then we've got the hybrid, our overlay. It's 1/4 inch UHMW on top of that, so you'll still get the same slipperiness and the cushioning and all that that the UHMW provides. So that's pretty much the installation on everything on this machine. I'm not going to demonstrate the A-arms because they are the exact same as the regular Ranger, not the Crew, the 2-seater model. And I actually already have a video demonstrating those. It's the exact same parts, the exact same hardware. So I've already got a video for that. So if you're curious about how to install the A-arm skids, like I said, there's a video on our YouTube channel demonstrating that. So that's pretty much the gist of it. Like I said, there's no drilling at all on this entire set. On the belly skids, you got to do a little bit of tapping, just putting a thread in holes that are already there that Polaris just didn't thread from the factory. But that's about it. Pretty straightforward installation. Should be a pretty good kit for you and your machine for years down the road. Thanks for watching.